Thank you, everyone, for being here. If you are like me, you are constantly focusing on the next steps, not what hasn't been done, trying to think of the next thing to do. So that's how we live our lives often, but I think once in a while we got to stop and look at how do we get to this place. And so it's great to see what has been done. And there was something about cleaning out the International Education Center over in Lanham after 10 years and moving to a new location that seemed like this is time to stop and appreciate where we've gotten to. And it's great that there's a lot of alumni students here today to celebrate the journey as well. The concept of an international center as a place for students from around the world to drop in, to meet each other, to meet faculty members who want to help them isn't very common in higher education. And in fact, our international student services is a broader kind of term than a lot of schools use. They usually mean that it's about students on student visas. But in fact, those programs omit immigrant students, and we have more than 3,000 of them. So our center, my definition of an international student is if you think you are one, you are. And that's kind of what our international center is about. Our goals are, first of all, to provide a safe, comfortable home base for a student who might feel like an outsider. Some of you remember what that felt like. To stop students from having to go from place to place around campus to get answers so they don't get discouraged. To inform students now about opportunities on campus that they may not know about or find out about after it's too late. And healthy intercultural communication, a chance for students to learn from each other, American and international, and to be able to ask the kinds of questions that we want to know, but we're often hesitant to ask. Immigration and visa law issues are getting more and more complicated, and the issues that immigrants and students on visa face in many ways can really be distractions that their professors wouldn't know about. A few examples. A student from a country dealing with Ebola just a year ago, sad about a family death, unable to fly home for the funeral because they weren't allowed to go home, unable to even talk to people about their loss because students would say, "Ooh, Ebola," and probably pull away from them. Can you imagine what could be worse than not only losing a loved one, but having to feel silent about it? Staying up night after night after night, watching television about the fighting in Syria, trying to figure out where your family members ran to and did they get on the boat and are they safe? And so being tired every day in school because that's your other 12-hour-a-day job. Needing a background check just to do something that's part of the internship of your program here at the college, but being afraid to get the background check because you're not sure whether that's going to out you about having an overextending your visa or changing from one visa to another. Those are the kinds of issues students are often dealing with and don't want to talk about to other people. In 10 years of coordinating the center, I have learned so much about the resilience of people who want higher education so strongly. They will do whatever it takes to make progress for themselves and their families. I remember a student who said she had to choose one morning between a fast food breakfast and enough money to get on the bus to go to class, and she chose the bus fare. We've calculated at this point, by the way, that we have worked with over 7,000 students in the last 10 years. That's pretty cool. I want to take a moment to thank Professor D. Bendigo D., our faculty assistant. Yes. The resplendent man over there from Liberia. And Sarah Ross McBean, our assistant in the office from Guyana. Thanks to so many faculty in all divisions of the college who volunteer an hour each week in order to be there for students in need, especially the regulars. And that includes, for example, Pamela Caesar, Albert von Thurnau, Roxanne King, Tran Nguyen, Indrava Da Shah, and so many others. Thanks also to our former Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Vera Zdravkovic, who tried to get here today, by the way, because she herself was a former international student, and she was such a champion of starting something virtual, so that when you said to her, well, where could we have a center? We don't have any space. She says, oh, it'll be virtual, virtual. It doesn't matter, right? So then we found a place. I'm also grateful, of course, for the ongoing support of Dr. Charlene Dukes, our president, our Vice President of Academic Affairs, Sandra Dunnington, my dean, Carolyn Hoffman, my chair, Tammy O'Donnell, who has yes, right, we should do that, who has a listening ear and always one more idea. And my adopted dean of Allied Health, Angie Anderson, who was kind enough to find us a place downstairs. At the community college, newcomers as freshmen are ready to turn around and help others by the time they're sophomores. So I have to thank the many, many students who, because of our fast turnaround, as in their second and third semester, were already saying, yeah, I'll volunteer to talk to high school students, to meet, to mentor, to visit classes. I love the way I got to watch your confidence build over the time that happened. And boy, does that describe the students here today. As you took on more and more things here at the college and became more confident and encouraged other people to stretch. Also, we forged some great ties with Prince George's County Public Schools, as you'll get to hear in a minute from Sylvia Hogue. And that's just been great, helping immigrant high school students come here and decide that this is like a real college, and maybe I do want to go to college, and especially want to go to Prince George's Community College. And also now the International Population Center of Prince George's County is in its 11th year. And that's allowed us to have communication between government agencies, nonprofits, the public schools, the community college, and even churches and community centers to find ways that we can work together to help this large and ever-changing newcomer group that's coming to the county. What a great opportunity the International Center has been for the faculty, for the staff, and for the students to work together in new kinds of ways and create a safe and supportive place for our students to thrive. And our students do thrive. So I'm happy to move the show along by introducing to you a young woman who is this year's student representative to the Board of Trustees. So, if you want a connection, talk to her. A bright and very dedicated student who herself has struggled hard to get to this point from Cameroon to the United States and is now a pre-law student who, guess what, one day hopes to work with immigration law. Eliane Lacam.
Thank you, Dr. Cohen. Thank you so much, and thank you for everybody for coming today. As she just mentioned, my name is Eliane Lacam, and I currently serve as a student member in the Board of Trustees of Prince George's Community College. I am in front of you today because I would like to introduce to you someone that many of you know. She is a leader. She's a natural leader because she was born to lead. She actually is very passionate about education, and she has 30 years of leadership in administration in higher education. You might know who I'm talking already, but Dr. Duke, that is her name. She has a bachelor's degree in education from University of Indiana in Pennsylvania, and then she has a master's and a doctorate degree in administration and policy. Dr. Dukes was named as one of the most influential, one of the 100 most influential women in the Maryland, DC, and Virginia area. She knows a lot about diversity, which is why she is so happy to serve as the first female president of Prince George's Community College. If I continue to tell you about Dr. Dukes, I think I will spend thousands and thousands of days here because her resume is really huge. But I will let her, tell you more about herself and tell you more about our college. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Dirks.
So good afternoon. The first thing that I would tell you is that it's important to understand that you're playing a key role in the program, not just a fleeting role. So I will apologize for that. I was at another meeting down at Riverdale Baptist, and I will just say, you know what happens when you get budding political candidates, you give them the mic, and they're all trying to outdo one another. And I was very concerned because I said, if I get up and walk out on any one of them, they will take that as an unintended message. And I'm always careful to understand that no matter who is elected in office, that we have to work with them to ensure that we have the resources necessary to support all of you. So I'm very delighted to be here, and I also apologize for my tardiness. I hope that is not a trait that you will take with you to class, that you all will be on time. So I do want to thank Ilion. What she didn't tell you is that, quite frankly, she is now my boss. So that I'm not, I've been in this business a long time, so I've learned some things along the way. So I genuflect to her whenever I can, make sure that I'm doing exactly what she is expecting of me, because she contributes mightily to my evaluation, and she is the voice of students, really, as she sits around the Board of Trustees table, and as we sit in retreats and talk about really the work that we're doing for each one of you. I also want to thank Dr. Cohen. It's amazing that she talks about 10 years, because what I will tell you is she has been on this journey for more than 10 years. I remember when I arrived at Prince George's, I think you might have given me a week or something, and then sent me a message that you'd like to sit down and meet, because you don't remember that. You're laughing. I know you remember. It's coming back. She actually stalked me for a while, but it was all in the best interest of students. She said, we have this growing international student population, this immigrant student population, and we need to do more, we need to do better, and quite frankly, we need to focus on it. And I remember thinking to myself, so why are you coming to me? I'm new here. I don't know anything about the politics or the culture of the campus or the like. But eventually, Dr. Vera Zadrofkovich and I sat down, talked about it together, and made it happen. So I want to thank you, not just for your leadership over the last 10 years where you have a physical sort of facility, but really your insight and your foresight to understand that this was something that we needed to do, that the Maryland, District of Columbia, Virginia region was changing, and if we didn't change with it, that we would miss the opportunity to really be surrounded by some very fine minds. So thank you very much, Marlene. I really appreciate that. So we know that today, more than 3,800 students from outside of the U.S. and probably another few hundred inside the U.S., that you all hail from about 125 different countries, and that you really are a part of the very fabric of who we are as a community college. I remember meeting Trevor, oh my gosh, the Hillman entrepreneurs. We followed him to the University of Maryland, tried to still take care of him even though he was on Maryland's turf, and just trying to make sure that he could succeed and do the things that he wanted to do, not just as a student, but what he wanted to do in terms of service to his country. And I just remember that was awesome. So I'm glad to see you here today. And pardon me? I know he actually is, so hopefully he'll have a chance to interact with you all individually and talk about what he's been able to do. And I think a large part of that is because of what he was able to do and to get here at Prince George's. The other thing I'd like to say just for a moment is, you know, several years ago, there was a movement in Maryland, the Dream Keepers. And if you recall that we were trying to work really hard to get in-state and in-county tuition benefits for young people who came here because their parents wanted them to have a better life. And unfortunately, they couldn't make the decision that I don't want to follow my parent or my parents to the United States of America. And what I will tell you is that I believe, because I know the work that we did, I know the telephone calls I received, I know the emails, maybe Twitter wasn't quite, or Facebook wasn't quite as popular then, but there were two presidents who stood up in the state of Maryland and said, this is the right thing to do, and we're going to support the right thing to do verbally and visibly. And that was Dr. Darian Pollard from Montgomery College and me from Prince George's Community College. We thought that we needed to make sure that access to education was not because of a lack of finances. And what I will tell you is that we still have work to do. We work really hard to ensure that our tuition is low. We struggle over raising tuition or fees $1. I was going to say 50 cents, but we don't really have $1 is as close as I can get. You know, we don't do tuition and change. But we really struggle over that, not just for students who are in county and can benefit from that lowest rate, but from students who are out of country. And as you're working for citizenship or other kinds of documentation that would allow us to give you those in-county rates, we know how difficult it can be to think about tuition and fees and books and how do you get here, how do you take care of your families. And I will tell you that as long as I'm here, this whole notion of financing college will be, I think, really the foundation of the work that I want to do as I think about, quite frankly, nearing the end of my career. I had the opportunity to be on the telephone yesterday with Dr. Jill Biden and some others from across the country, so I don't want you to think that it was just a call between Jill Biden and me. You know, I got my 10-digit number and my ID to go in so they would know I was on the call, but it wasn't just the two of us having a conversation. But we are really talking about America's college promise. What does it mean to be able to provide constitutionally free community college to people from all across the country? We know that there are states that are already doing it, and there might be some criteria for it as we think about the Tennessee Promise, the Oregon Promise, the Harper College Promise. Even in Garrett County in western Pennsylvania, the county council and the county executive has said for every high school student who graduates from Garrett High School, they will give free tuition to attend Garrett Community College. And what I keep saying is if they can do that in Garrett, probably one of the poorest communities in the state of Maryland, that you can't tell me that we can't do that in Prince George's County. So I have been working and laying the seeds and the foundation with our current county executive, and that's one reason why I didn't get up and leave when those potential political elected officials were talking, because I'm going to work them for that too. I think that the promise of college ought to be there for everyone. Now, you all know that you play an important role here, not just at our college, but in our community. I'm always amazed when I walk around campus and I'm listening to different accents or, quite frankly, different languages, and asking people, so tell me, what are you saying? You didn't just say anything bad about me, did you? Because I'll be honest, I only speak 2 languages, English and then broken English. That's it, all right? And that's where you use double negatives and the like when you get around your friends and you sort of stop being sort of maybe professional or formal. But I'm always just amazed at how I walk around campus and I'm listening to students, but I'm also engaging with them and understand how grateful you are to be a part of who we are at the college. We know that you contribute to varied perspectives to the experience of all of our students and, quite frankly, our faculty and staff. We are probably more homogeneous than we might like to be, and we understand that we have work to do as we think about the people that we hire who work to serve you. We know that this afternoon we're going to hear more about the impact of our international students, both the center and each one of you, the impact that you've had on the institution over the past 10 years. We're going to hear reflections from current and former students, and really how your presence here allowed us to think outside of the box with regard to what we do for you. And quite frankly, what I will tell you as the president, you need to push me to do more. You need to actually push me to do more. Now, you don't need to stalk me. That's a different, okay? We don't quite want to go there, but it's okay to raise your hand and say, you know what? Here are things that would really make this a better place for us to be. Here are the services that we really need in order to ensure that we're not only enrolling in college, but we're persisting. We're here semester after semester, and that we're able to get the degrees or the certifications or the certificates that we came here with the intent to complete. Here's what you need to do in terms of, quite frankly, the cost of books. Here's what you need to do to ensure that there are tutoring services available at more hours than we might currently have. Here's what you need to do to make sure that the open labs are available. So what I would say to you is take the opportunity to push us, because if we're not doing the work that we're supposed to do for you, then you can't do the work and meet the goals that you set for yourselves. I think we all believe that the opportunity for higher education should be available to all who seek it. Many of you, some in the room, have heard my story and others may not have, that I know I wouldn't be here if my father had not been told that no matter how smart he was, that he was good with his hands, and instead of going to school to be an architect, he should just learn the carpentry trade. He met my mom, the rest is history. I have 8 brothers and sisters, and then at some point the idea of going to college became a fleeting thought for him. But every Sunday, he would take us by the steel mill where he worked in Pennsylvania, and he would say, I work here every day, so the 9 of you will never have to do this kind of work. So I understand how important higher education is, because quite frankly, I live it. I live it every day. I talk to my son about it. I talk to my nieces and nephews about it. And when we have a family reunion, which is a whole lot of people, you know, we talk about where folks are and where we've come from, and the fact that we never forget our roots, we never forget our foundation, and we never forget that our job is, quite frankly, to pave the way for others to come behind us. So, and I think that if I can say this and use that story as an analogy, that's what Dr. Cohen, Dr. Kaufman, Professor O'Donnell, and others have done for you. They have laid a stake in the ground, and what they have said is that this is our life's work, to make sure that the students we serve have opportunities that are well beyond what we ever thought as individuals that we could do. So I'm delighted to be here with you. I'm delighted to stick around for a moment. I will tell you my schedule is kind of crazy today, to hear some of your stories, and again, help us to do more for you. So thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dux. Your words were really encouraging. We are really happy and delighted to have you as our president. And we know how dedicated you are for education. Thank you so much. Our next guest is someone very special for people who move from a country to the U.S., for people who would like their children to continue, to have the opportunity to live an American dream by having an education. She has done a lot in our county to help all those high school students who comes here because they're following their parent. Her name is Miss Silverhawk, and she worked with the International Student Counseling Office, BGCP, and she is here today to let you know more about this organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Sylvia Hoke, and I'm the International Student Specialist for Prince George's County Public Schools. And when I was contacted by Dr. Cohen to come, I immediately said yes, of course, because how can you say no to Dr. Cohen? Dr. Dukes, you talked about being stalked. I know what that feels like. But it's in a good way. It's always in a good way, because the interest is there for educating our children, for making sure that everybody gets what they deserve, what they need in order to be successful here in the United States. So as part of the International Student Counseling Office, our job as part of the public school system here is we in our office work with any student who has come to the United States as an international student, and if they have children that they want to register into the public school system, grades K through 12, they come through our office first. We do the evaluation of records, we do the grade placement, and we also work with ESOL, which is the English language proficiency testing for students who may need support in the English language area. Once students are enrolled in school, then our goal and our role is to make sure that those students graduate, that they graduate on time, and that they graduate prepared to continue their education in the postgraduate world. We know just from experience that many of the international students that come to our district, some of them are only here for 2 or 3 years. They arrive with some credits and they're just learning English, and so they graduate from our high schools here. But we know that many of them, their goal, their dream is always to continue their education, but there are many barriers for that. And I see a lot of faces here. I can see that I've been in the International Student Office since 1992. And I see some faces here from the adult education program, because we were in the same building. We shared a building with them for many years, where we were registering the kids into elementary and middle school and high school, and then we were referring the parents to the adult education program, and they all had the same question: how can I continue my education? How can I learn English? How can I continue to study? And so I see a lot of faces here as well from students who graduated from Prince George's County Public Schools, from our high schools, and then continued their education here at Prince George's Community College. I see, of course, over the last 10 years, our office has collaborated with Dr. Cohen and with the Office of Admissions at one point for many years in order to bring some of our high school students, ESOL students who were in high school, to Prince George's Community College so that they could visit and learn about what does it take to get into college in the United States? What does it take for you to be prepared to take college level courses here? What kinds of careers can you get? How can you pay for it? All of those questions are things that are hard enough to know the answers to when you are a US-born student with parents that went to college. I know because I have a student right now who's a third-year student at the University of Maryland. And last year, he took a semester off to come to Prince George's Community College because he needed to figure out where he fit in. But even with me, as his mom, being a school counselor, being a college graduate, and having had all of this experience guiding students towards college, it was difficult for him to know the answers to all of those questions. So imagine being somebody who's new to the country, not speaking the language, and not having any parents who went to college anywhere, or may not even be literate in their own languages. So how do we encourage that kind of forward movement? That's our job in our office, and it's a job that we love. And in collaboration with Dr. Cohen, I'm really happy to report that over the last 10 years at least, as long as I can remember, we have brought Prince George's Public School high school students, 11th and 12th graders, here to Prince George's to the college, so that they could visit, so they could get the answers to their questions about financial aid, about admission, about careers. And Dr. Dukes, when she was speaking earlier, she said, "This is the time for you to raise your hand and ask questions." So here's my hand. You know, we want to. I promise I won't stalk you like Dr. Cohen did, but this is a program that has been consistently over 3,000 students over the last 10 years that we have brought to Prince George's County, Prince George's Community College from our high schools. And what we found out through evaluations of these students after their visits, after they've gone through the health center and looked at the biology labs and witnessed the 3D printer and seen things like that, the art labs and so forth, one of always the comment that they make is that I've never been to a college campus before. These are 11th and 12th graders. I've never been to a college campus before. I've never been to a college fair. My parents never went to college. I don't know how much it costs. I didn't think I could afford to go to college. I was thinking I was just going to work for a few years, or maybe forever, because I can't go to college. I don't think I qualify to go to college because I don't have documentation. I just never thought about it. And so after they've come on the campus and they've seen students just like them in the classrooms, in the buildings, in the cafeterias even, then they can say, oh, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's the benefit of this program, which we really, really want to encourage to continue because it works and it makes a big difference. So that was my 2-cent plug. I'd also like to introduce one of our other counselors in the office. We have 7 counselors working for all of the 30,000 or so international students in Prince George's County Public Schools. Our office consists of about 7 counselors, including myself and Mr. Joseph Pham. You want to stand up and say hello? And all of us, or the majority of us, are examples of what can happen when you have those supports for international students. Mr. Pham came to the United States as a refugee from Vietnam, first-generation college student. I was born in Brazil. I came to the United States when I was 12 and finished my high school here and then went on to the University of Maryland. The other counselors are coming from all over the world. You know, and we've all reached a certain level that we want to pass on to not just our family members, because all of our students are our family members. They're all our kids, and we really look forward to pushing them forward, and with your support also making sure that they get where they need to be. The community college for them is the most affordable, the most viable, the most reasonable step towards getting their college education and or getting their career training before they even move on into the work world. So I appreciate everything that you've done for us, Dr. Cohen. We really want to help you support our students in any way that we can as well. And I know Marlene only gave me 4 minutes to talk. I think I've gone over that time, but I really appreciate all of your support. So thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Justice Hawkins, and I'm the president of the Kaleidoscope Club this semester. This is my 2nd semester being president, and I stand before you today to introduce some of the students who've been impacted by the International Education Center. First off is Neha Sethi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Justice, for the introduction. Well, I'm here to share my experience, what value International Education Center has for me. So International Education Center holds a great value to me because the center gave me my first leadership opportunity to work as a mentor. As a mentor, I also got an opportunity to meet 2 Indian students who were my mentees, and working with them was a beautiful and wonderful experience. And now they're my really good friends and sisters. I never thought I would be able to find, because when I came here, I just found people from other culture, but not anyone from India. So because of this center, I was able to find somebody from India too. The center gave me confidence to interact with people from different cultures and learn about them. At that time, I didn't realize that was a God's given gift to me, to share about myself, learn about others, and it helped greatly with all the misconceptions I or my friends had about my culture or my religion. So the center actually planted that seed in me, and now I'm part of the movement. I'm part of the committee on campus. I'm part of the club called Better Together Interfaith Club on campus, which believes that we are better when we are together. Joining the center for any student is a great opportunity because you not only meet people from your own culture, but also from other countries and cultures. This opens doors for friendships, broadens your perspective, and most importantly, we learn about each other. Thank you, International Education Center, and thank you, Dr. Cohen.
The next student who will be speaking is Zarina Muhammad.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for introducing me. My name is Zarina Rana Muhammad. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience at PGCC and at International Center. When I came to the International Education Center to join the Kaleidoscope Club, I didn't know too much about Prince George Community College. I was scared and lost, since I was a somewhat older student with 4 children and without any knowledge of the American school. When I started to attend the International Center's event with my whole family, for example, Global Cafe, I learned that I am not the only international student at PGCC. Kaleidoscope gave me a sense of belonging and acceptance, which helped me to have so many friends. With the International Education Center's help, I got contacted with so many people who helped me and taught me about US family services when I had a family problem. Finally, I was able to graduate last summer with 2 associate degrees, accounting and business administration. I am really thankful to Dr. Cohen and each and everyone who helped me. Thank you very much.
The next student is Adekunle Oyiwola.
Thank you, Justice. You actually did a great injustice on my name. It's actually pronounced Adekunle Olayiwola, all right? What was I going to say today? Dr. Cohen told us all to prepare a 3-minute speech. I tried. I seriously did, but I couldn't come up with one because I had so many great experiences here, and I didn't know I don't think 3 minutes was enough to embody that. So what I was actually going to talk about was even the experience I just had today. Let me raise this up a little bit. Actually, I graduated from PG about 2 years ago, and I've been on and off and helping out here. I was a tutor, I worked a bit, and just this afternoon, after leaving PG for a couple of months, just walking into that center, I felt a relief. I felt at home. I haven't felt that way in a quite a long time, and that is what the International Education Center is. It is my home. It's my home away from home. For those of you who know me, I've actually traveled so many different places. Sometimes people ask me, where are you from? I want to say Nigeria, but I didn't really grow up there. So I have all these different experiences, and coming to the IAC was the one place that I was able to find other students like myself who have been displaced, who have been traveled in so many other places, so I could always find a place where I could relate and where I could be myself. So thank you very much, IAC, for providing me a home away from home. And also thank you too, Dr. Cohen.
Kume is so funny, guys. Okay, so the next student is Esther Rodolfo.
Right, good afternoon, everyone. Well, my name is Esther, and thank you again, Dr. Cohen, for inviting us to speak about our experiences. So she had two questions for us. Why is the center of value to me, and why is it of value for other students? So the first one I will answer. Although I graduated high school here, I came here 2007, and okay, going back. I came here 2007, and coming here was a shock. Like, I told my family, I don't want to be here in America. I want to go home. I will not survive here. And I went through like a period of depression for quite a while. But I want to point out Mr. Pham. He was one of the vital people who helped me survive high school, because I went to Parkdale High School. And man, if I didn't meet him, I would know what would happen to me in high school. So I really would just want to shout out to him. So, I got through high school, and with the help of people like him and others, I was okay. And I said, okay, I think I could survive here in America. And then I had to go to college. I had to say that because I told my parents, okay, graduate from high school, I'm okay now. I don't need to go to college, right? Like, I can just work right now, and plus we don't have money. But my parents were very pushy, and education is very important to them. So, and I said, but I have to start over again. I have to start over the transition again. And I don't want to go through the change because I was just scared. And it did not help that in my early weeks here in Prince George Community College, I experienced discrimination. And I will not go into further detail about it, but it was bad enough to tell me that I should just drop all my classes and stop going to college. But, even after that, I think I'm very grateful to, the International Center, to Dr. Cohen, because it really helped ease some fears and discomfort. Because after that kind of traumatic experience, I just thought maybe I shouldn't go here, but she kind of told me, she helped me feel like I can belong here, I can be accepted here, I can be embraced and cared for here. So that really helped my transition, that change into coming here. And I'm really grateful to her and the International Center, because it helped me build connections, just what Zarina had said. And connections that up until this point, I still have. People I've met from years back, I'm still very connected with. And that was very vital for me as a student here in Prince George Community College. And the second one, why is it of value to other people? I would say this is a very great resource for all of you. I love the fact that people are very non-judgmental. Very non-judgmental with the way you speak, the way you say or do or act things. Because, being an international student, we kind of act not the usual American way. It could be a little different, We're uniquely different. And we come with unique set of circumstances. And so, but IEC, as I said, is very accepting, very, very understanding, and they really deeply care about your success as an international student, in spite of your unique personalities, unique differences, and unique circumstances. So that's all. Thank you.
I get to work with such great students. It's really wonderful. I'm now delighted to introduce you to State Senator Jim Rosapep, who is from the Laurel area. And I have to tell you why he's here. He's here because, I guess it was probably 11 years ago, right? There was a state meeting for people involved in international education, and this guy I didn't know said, if I can help you guys in any way with international education, let me know. And I thought, I think I need to meet this man. And really, you've been such a great supporter, and I'm so impressed over the years at watching the ways in which you stand up for students at the University of Maryland, students at the community college. So thanks for being here to celebrate 10 years later. Jim Rosapep.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cohen, and thanks to all of you. It is truly an honor to be with you today. I'm an immigrant from Italy. I came here very young. I don't even speak Italian. But I do understand, because my parents spoke Italian, my older sister spoke Italian, we have very strong connections to our family back home, that my heritage is a big part of who I am and a big part of who I am as an American. And so while I don't have the experiences that each of you have, and many of you have much more experience in your country of heritage and probably actually speak the language of your country of heritage, which I don't do, I think I do have some understanding of what you bring to this country. I know this isn't a political event, but I can't resist saying this is listening to the student speakers today, meeting other students here, understanding the students who are here at Prince George Community College from very diverse national and ethnic backgrounds. I have met Donald Trump's worst nightmare. Ambitious, hardworking, loyal, multilingual Americans. That's who you are, and that's who your colleagues are here at Prince George's Community College. One of the projects that I worked on over the years with Delegate Jocelyn Pena-Melnick, who is a colleague of mine in the House of Delegates from my area, who's an immigrant from the Dominican Republic, was legislation we passed to make Maryland the first state in the United States that made preservation of heritage languages a national goal. Now, many of you have been here in the United States long enough to know that Americans bemoan the fact that most Americans only speak English. And so we have all kinds of programs. I studied French in school, and people study all kinds of languages, and that's terrific, and people should do that. You have an unfair competitive advantage, most of you. You brought your other language with you. And it's a tremendous asset to the United States. I mean, my gosh. Having so many people who come here who want to be Americans, who are educated, who are full participants in our society, who we taxpayers didn't have to pay to teach you your native language. You brought it with you. And so we thank you for that. And we really believe that everything that you have to contribute to this country are things that benefit this country. Briefly, and then I think I'm close to the end of the program here, so I'm standing between us and the refreshments, is Prince George Community College and the Prince George Public Schools. I mean, the reality is, and you know this because you're living the dream, is that Prince George's County Public Schools, Prince George's Community College, is on the leading edge in the United States of welcoming and supporting international students. Not every community college is like Prince George Community College. I just want to let you know that. There are many other ones that do a good job, but Prince George Community College under Dr. Cohen's leadership has been way out front. You're the beneficiaries of it. We're all the beneficiaries of it. And when we look around the world today, and we've seen just in the last couple of days, sort of the tragedies and conflicts in the Middle East, now spilling over in a very direct way into Europe, and the difficulties that people have getting along with each other, and the difficulties people having understanding each other, the difficulties people have including others who are not exactly like them in their community, you have to say, God bless us, we live in Prince George's County. Thank you very, very much.
Kaylee, you're next. Okay, Kaylee has a job to do. Little drum roll. Okay, the winner, you can explain what they get.
Okay. So I am going to pick out the winning ticket for the Barack Obama poster that we have here. Let's see. So 610-3875. But you, yay!
You have a place for you? Great. Okay, food is coming. Thank you all for being here, but come and enjoy the food. Stay here and enjoy the food. Oh, also, excuse me, I should also say, back to the mic. Maybe. Enjoy the food. Go downstairs and visit the new International Center, which, by the way, is only going to be there for 2.5 years. I got to design a neat little place that's going to be back in Lanham Hall when we get back into Lanham Hall for the International Center with a nice glass curved wall and a place for international students to hang out, right? Doesn't that sound good? And also today at 3:15, an hour from now, we're going to walk across campus over to the courtyard of the Largo Student Center to dedicate our peace pole. If you don't know what a peace pole is, they are cropping up all over the United States. And boy, it seems like a time that we need them. At schools, churches, synagogues, community centers, the pole says, "May peace prevail on earth." And it's written in 4 languages: English, Arabic, French, and Spanish. We got to pick the languages most common to our campus. And it just seems like our campus is a great place to have that as a reminder about how we are better together and enjoy coming together. So enjoy being here and then walk across campus with us for the 3:15 dedication of the Peace Pole. Thanks for being here and thanks for everybody participating.